simply because the touch is not there, and that drifts down to the grassroots.
But one would think that with all these foreign players in the Premier League, that our English players would actually learn and look at their skills.
That is exactly the issue, and that is exactly what should be happening, but it's not. Kevin Keegan said it when he was England manager. English kids are lazy. How many kids do you see out there on the streets, right, practicing their left foot, their right foot, dribbling in and out of poles and cones, right? You go to Italy, you go to Brazil, you go to France, you go to Croatia.
I was at Croatia. Individual ball skills.
Mate, in the summer, I was in Croatia. There was kids everywhere, even when it was dark, playing by street lamps, right? Practicing their skills 3 and 4 hours a day. English kids are lucky, and they are lazy. Keegan was right. If they spend 3 or 4 minutes a day on their fundamental skills, the kids are lazy. And there's...
Paul, you talk about what you went through. Just let's touch on your days at Middlesbrough when you went there as a 15-year-old and you were told by Jack Charlton to go home, basically. How did you persist? How did you keep the dream going?
Well, again, one of the emotional things that came out is my parents sold the house to finance my trip, and I'd been there a day, and there was a trial game, and we were getting beat 3-0 at half-time. Jack Charlton walked into the dressing room, had a go at everybody, and he said, where are you from? And I said, Australia. He said, you're the worst footballer I've ever seen in my life. Now hop it back to Australia. But he didn't use hop it, he said worse words. And that was the end of the dream. So I went back to the digs, phoned my mum and said, Mum was all excited. She said, how was your big trial? How did Jack Charlton like you? And I said, Mum, he said I'm one of the finest footballers he's ever seen. He wants me to stay. And I hung up before I burst into tears.
Yes.
And I couldn't go home then because of what the sacrifice that had been made. And the fact that Jack Charlton wasn't wrong compared to these sophisticated 14 and 15-year-old English, Scottish, Irish and Welsh kids, I was a laughingstock. So then I had to basically put myself in jail, and used to get up at 7 o'clock and clean all the boots and the cars, and the only way that I could hide from Charlton was that the players would give me money to clean their cars and stuff, and they would shout, Charlton's coming, and I'd hide in the car park. And I did that for a year and a half, but I spent 6 and 7 hours a day dribbling, heading, passing, shooting, all the things that it took to be a professional player. So, you know, the dream was over after a day, but then came, you know, the work. And again, you know, we talk about grassroots and youth development. It's all about kids spending hours and hours with a ball, getting a touch and a feel.
What was amazing was the way you picked yourself up, you learnt how to play football. Can you just take us through, and we are limited a little bit by time, but through your time at Middlesbrough and your transition to gain a signature with one of the most famous clubs in the world? Well,
when the fog cleared, I was hiding from the manager. The players were supporting me, but it came down to a fundamental that I was in a business where the ball was God. And I looked at the soccer ball and realised it's a perfect object and it doesn't make mistakes, and the more you use it, the less mistakes you make. So I scientifically, if you like, set about to say, well, how do I dribble? How do I pass? How do I shoot? And I set up little skill games with garbage cans, and I dribble in and out, left foot, right foot, and if I touch the garbage can, go back to the start. And I'd do that 20 times, 30 times, left foot, right foot. Again, I painted goals on the wall, and I'd hit the crosses on the wall 5, 10, 20 times. If I didn't do it, I'd be there for 5, 6 hours. If I did do it, I'd be there for 3 or 4 hours before I had lunch, and then after dinner. So if you do that long enough, then all of a sudden the fundamentals come, and you actually do get better at dribbling, at shooting, at passing. And because I wasn't allowed to play at the club, I would play with the little kids in the street on the way home. You know, the little scruffy kids in the back of behind Essen Park. Essen Park's not there now. So I would do anything, right? You know, and the thing is, I had one job in life, and that was to be a better soccer player at night than when I woke up in the morning. And I used to put a cross on the wall, right, saying, I've done that. And if I cheated, meaning cheated, I didn't do one of my exercises or homework, I used to hate myself internally. Say I only trained for 4 hours a day rather than 8. Right, I'd come home and, you know, I'd beat myself up. I'd call myself a coward and all of that stuff. and I'd do all of these psychology tricks with myself to get back out there in the mud and the rain, right, like an idiot. And they used to call me the kangaroo, the idiot in the car park, because I had sort of like beach blonde hair. I was a surfer kid. Yep. I had the ringlets, the rasta and all of that, and they thought I was a madman.
How did you go from then forcing your way into the Middlesbrough lineup to attracting the attention of Liverpool?
Well, one day there was a whole series of injuries at the club, and they were going to forfeit a match, a Middlesbrough senior match, reserve team match. And they said, well, what about the kangaroo in the car park? And everyone said, no, he's crap, he's no good, you can't use him. And they said, well, all he has to do is be on the bench. So anyway, I came on, right, we were getting beat, it was 0-0 at half-time, and I actually scored 3 goals. And they said, he's not crap, he's all right, right, because I scored a shot, a volley and a header. But for the last 18 months, I've been practicing 8 hours a day, you know, shot volleys and headers, you know, so that's how you get better. And I'm shocked that everyone's missed the point, you know, and often I've said is kids are lazy, and, you know, they don't get out and play like we used to play. And like, you know, you talk about Bobby Charlton and Jack Charlton, the candlelights and the street lights, that culture's also gone in England.
Yes.
You know, it exists in Brazil and Argentina and the barrios still, where there's real poverty and hunger. But it's gone in our modern MTV, PlayStation,
Most
iPhone,
Western nations,
society. You know, that grassroots, small game culture is gone. You know, so that's why I'm so passionate about grassroots and youth soccer, is because your job is to be a better soccer player. On a daily basis, otherwise why are you bothering? Craig, that's what people are missing, you know.
Each day I am tested by life in like manner. If I persist, if I continue to try, if I continue to charge forward, I will succeed. I will persist until I succeed. I was not delivered unto this world in defeat, nor does failure course in my veins. I am not a sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. I am a lion, and I refuse to talk, to walk, to sleep with the sheep. I will hear not those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. I will never consider defeat, and I will remove from my vocabulary such words and phrases as quit, cannot, unable, impossible, out of the question, improbable, failure, unworkable, hopeless, and retreat. For they are the words of fools. I will avoid despair, but if this disease of the mind should affect me, then I will work on in despair. I will toil, and I will endure. I will ignore the obstacles at my feet and keep mine eyes on the goals above my head. For I know that where dry desert ends, green grass grows. I must fail often to succeed only once. I will persist until I succeed. I will try and try and try again. Each obstacle I will consider as a mere detour to my goal and a challenge to my profession. I will persist and develop my skills as the mariner develops his, by learning to ride out the wrath of each storm. I will persist until I succeed. I will resist the temptation to depart. I will try again. I will make one more attempt to close with victory, and if that fails, I will make another. Never will I allow any day to end with a failure. Always will I take another step. If that is of no avail, I will take another, and yet another. In truth, one step at a time is not too difficult. I will persist until I succeed. When others cease their struggle, then mine will begin, and my harvest will be full. I will persist until I succeed. Nor will I allow yesterday's success to lull me into today's complacency, for this is the greatest foundation of failure. I will forget the happenings of the day that is gone, whether they were good or bad, and greet the new sun with confidence that this will be the best day of my life. So long as there is breath in me, that long will I persist. But now I know one of the greatest principles of success. If I persist long enough, I will win. I will persist. I will win.
Commitment to your dream. You cannot get people to believe in your dream until you believe in it yourself. Stop asking people to invest in things where you have no investment. Stop asking people to deliver something to you where you're not willing to go to the wire for yourself. Nobody's going to put into your dream before you put in. You have to invest in what you dream for. Hallelujah to God. Anybody can dream it, but you'll never see it until you're willing to be committed to it. And you'll never get to see what you could have been because the cost of getting to see it is a commitment that you've never been willing to pay. I have never met anybody who became incredibly successful in any area of their life until they had suffered and sweated and sacrificed and kept their focus and fought through tears and trials and tests. And if you have a dream and you commit to it, it will come to pass. You can't get out of something that you're not willing to put into it. You have to put your everything, your mind, your energy, your effort, your discipline, your tenacity. Nothing is going to jump out the fire. If you don't throw something in there, it's not going to happen. Somebody has got to arrest this crazy generation that wants to take everything and give back nothing. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. Commitments don't have nothing to do with your feelings. You do it because you're supposed to. And you think greatness goes on sale. But true quality never goes on sale. Greatness costs what it costs.
There are going to be times in your life where you are kicked down, where you feel like you can't go on anymore, where you don't feel like getting out of bed, where you feel like you are beat down and the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you're not sure if you could carry this thing anymore. I'd be lying to you if I said I never have down periods, that I don't feel depressed, that I don't feel anxious, that I don't feel sad, that I don't feel like the world is kicking my tail. But you gotta find a way. You gotta find something to keep going, to keep pushing forward, to just give that little boost to push you through the day, to push you through tomorrow and the next day until you get out of this funk. You gotta find something inside you to do it. And you gotta understand that it's a test. It's a test of your will, of your grit, of your mental toughness. And the more brilliant you are, the more you will be tested. You fight through the depression, you fight through the anxiety, you fight through the stress, you fight through all of the negative, all of the circumstances around you that are beating you down to your knees. And you just gotta stand up.
Listen to me very closely. You gotta hear what I'm saying. Pain is temporary.
If you push through, the gates will open. That you will reach your goals, your targets, and you will become the best you if you keep moving one foot after the other, after the other.
Pain is gonna take you to the next level. I know what you feel but you gotta work through it. And if you work through your pain, On the other side is a reward. Your pain ain't permanent. You can get through this. You bigger than your pain. You better than that. I've been trying to get that into your spirit. I've been trying to get you to celebrate pain.
How strong are you, mentally, to fight through this thing?
You gonna work through this. You gonna get up, you gonna get dressed, and you gonna do what you've been called to do. You gonna be what you called to be. And you gonna prove to everybody that tried to break you, you gonna prove them wrong. Everybody that tried to stop you, everybody that tried to kill your dreams, you gonna prove all of them wrong.
Anybody can be good when times are good. But when things are bad in your life, how good are you going to be? Because that's the test of you as a human being. Will you show up? Will you bring it? So bring it.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. I've never really viewed myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. You know, while the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working. There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled. You know, if you don't study, if you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every single day, you'll never be able to communicate with people, with your artistry, the way that you want. So the only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, but if we get on the treadmill together, right, there's two things. You're getting off first, or I'm going to die.
There are those of you right now, your life is not where you want to be. Like, your life, you messed up. Or you're doing good, but you can't find a way to get to great. Just because you failed doesn't make you a failure.
To have faith, and that faith gives you patience. That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen.
It's your dream. If you want it to happen, get your butt up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
I dare you not to go back to sleep. I dare you to get up, and I dare you to chase your dreams. It's possible you could win. Whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. Step toward it. You want to make your dream come true, you got to stay focused. Some people rather get even than get ahead. Stay focused on where you want to go.